Hi, welcome to Hallie's Real Talk. Had to remember which channel I'm on. Anyway, this is Real Talk with Hallie, and I am doing this live because I wanted to kind of make up for time that we have lost between the last time I got on. So, without any further ado, let's just jump into this. I had talked to you last time about money and your tax returns and all of that and what you should do with that. And I said I would follow that up with some more helpful hints and things like that that I have picked up through the years. If you don't know who I am, I'm Hallie. This is my Real Talk share from life experiences. I am not a financial planner. I am not a guru of any of that sort, or legal, lawyer or anything. I am just a mom who had to figure it out along the way. And now that I am in my retirement years, I have time to actually share that with you. So I wanted to do that with a biblical perspective. So without any further ado, let's do this. So this is one of the things that I was talking to you about. My notes. My Bible. That's how I go. That's how I roll. One of the things I was talking about is being financially responsible and taking care of your debt as much as you could in the prior talk with your tax returns coming in. And I shared that I was going to also share with you some other ways that home versus renting and such. Right now I've just found out, and I don't know how true this is, so check it out for yourself, do the homework. But California, which is one of the hardest places that you can buy a home, they're just astronomically out there. And I grew up in Cali. Yes, I'm a SoCal girl, and I have lived in like a triangle. Back in the 90s, we moved to Reno, Nevada. And then from Reno, Nevada, we retired. We worked there, we raised our family, and then we moved to Arizona to retire. So I did like a little triangle. The reason I did that is one of the things I've shared in the previous: buy high, sell low. No, buy low, sell high. Think that through again. You want to buy low and you want to sell high when you can. Sometimes it's just a matter of, this is where I want to live, this is what I'm willing to pay, and there you go. For me, it's always had to been a wise decision. As the Bible shares, consider a field before you buy it. Do your homework, do your due diligence. Don't assume just because there's a builder out there building in a lot and everything's going to be perfect. There's a lot of shortcuts that builders do. So you want to make sure that you have a reputable builder. You're buying on good, solid foundation. You're not buying shifting sand. You know that. Don't build your house on the sandy land. Don't do that, because you are going to have foundation problems. So keeping that in mind, do your due diligence, do your homework, and you so can do that nowadays, especially with the internet. It's so easy to do. We built in Maricopa, and the builder we had, I'm not going to say names, did not do a very well job. And we chose to relocate after dealing with the nonsense for a while. And I remember my granddaughter going, Grammy, and she's kicking the dirt, don't build your house on the sandy land. And I go, well, this is different. This is desert sand. It's going to be fine. We have a tension, slab. It's all good. Yeah. No, it was not. Arizona gets monsoons, we get a lot of rain, and there's a lot of shift. So do your homework, know the area that you're wanting to buy. Check out the California new program that they have for first-time home buyers. And to my understanding, if you haven't bought a home in 3 years, you may qualify for that anyway. So check that out if you are looking to want to buy in California. And they will loan you your 20% down. They work it into your note. And then when you sell your house, of course, you have to pay it back at that time. But it's interest-free, to my understanding. Now, don't quote me on that. Do your homework. But that's something to think about. So home versus rental. So I've done both. When I first moved out on my own, of course, we rented for a short period of time. And then my first home I bought, I'm going to say I was probably 19 or so. It was before my 20s. And we bought, and I went through a sad divorce. tear, but it happens, and I didn't have the Lord in my life at the time, but that's pretty young to be buying a home, and I learned a lot through that process and through the whole legal thing of having to get it sold and everything. And then I rented for a while because I didn't know I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just took some time out for myself and I rented. And then I married and my husband had a home. And when I was reviewing the home contract, there's a lot of things out there that can happen to you. So you make sure when you enter into a contract that you read through it and you know what you're getting into, because there's these things called balloon payments, which comes due after a period of time, or like you have like your adjustable rates, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. So I saw there was a balloon payment on it, and we talked about it, and we chose to sell to get away from that balloon payment. And then we bought a new home. So we took our equity out of that house and we flipped it into the new house. So we sold high and we actually bought a new house for lower. So don't rule out that you can't afford a new house, because a lot of times the new house has more creative financing and there's more possibilities for you out there. So look into the new homes as well. You don't have to buy somebody else's headache. You don't have to buy something unless you want it already done. Like when we sold our home, whenever we sold our home, everyone was always happy with our home because we always took care of it. That was an investment for us. Plus, if you take care of what you have, you're not having to replace it all the time, right? So there you go with that. So anyway, we sold, got rid of that balloon payment, gone, went into another home. And we went in with a high interest rate because we were newlyweds just starting out and we knew that we had to bite the bullet. So we did, and we had a high interest rate. But I went into it knowing that X amount of time, after a year, and the interest rates, we prove ourselves and all that stuff, we're going to get rid of our mortgage premium insurance. That's about $140 to $200 a month that you're going to have to pay if you don't put 20% down. So keep that in mind too. You need to have 20% down to get rid of the mortgage premium insurance. And you can roll that off of your loan after 5 years, to my understanding. That's how it was when we did it. It may be different now. Check the laws, do your homework, because every state is different, and this is international. My channel is not just for the United States. So know that going into it, that you want to do your homework, you want to see what your other options are. Now I'm going to do a name drop. I use a company that, and I'm going to put it down in the link, and I'm actually going to call my guy and make sure it's okay to do. But when I talked to Drew, he gave me access as shopping for a loan, for I could see all the different options that I qualified for. So I could look at the ARMs, I could look at the adjustable rates, I could look at the 30-year, 20-year, 15-year, 10-year. I could look at the conventional, the FHA, and the VA, and yada yada, and so on and so on. Now that sounds overwhelming, but it's really not if you take your time and you do it. With the finance company that I use, I logged on. I could see all the different options I had. I could see the interest rates, how much down I would have, how much I would have to pay for my points and such. Because you are not just going to go in there and get a loan. Woo, I got a loan. You're going to have to pay points, closing costs, and all this fun stuff. So there's not just the 20% down. That doesn't cover all that. But wait, there's more. There's more. So know that going into it. But if you make that investment, you're going to live in that home, let's say about 5 years. That's usually rule of thumb. Got a boo-boo. That's usually the rule of thumb, though. Most people stay in their home for about 5 years, build up the equity, and then sell it. Sell high, buy low. So you may not get the house that you actually really, really want, but you'll get one that you can afford, that you can raise your family in for a while. Make sure you have good schools. That's really important. And the location. So keep that in mind. And don't go buying yourself a house that takes you an hour to get to and from work, unless you're looking at changing your job down the line. Job. That's another thing to think about. You need to be on your job and have consistency. So if you're a job hopper, stop that, because you're not going to qualify for a loan. You need to be consistent. If you own your own business, you're going to have consistent tax returns to show your profit, your gain and loss. So know that going into it. So there's a lot to it as far as buying a home, and it can be overwhelming, but it's really not. It's really not. Like I said, I bought my first home when I was 19. We just bought the home that we're in right now about 7 months ago, I'm going to say. And this hopefully is our last home. We're done moving. You know, we're older, it's harder. We really had very minimal help moving. And it was hard. We're just now getting set up. And plus, when we move, we're not only moving our home, we're moving my studio and yada yada. So I'm almost done setting up my studio. So keeping that in mind, rent versus home. When you're renting, you're basically paying your landlord's payment for what they owe. Usually that's what they charge. That's what we charge to be rented. So you make the house payment, we're good. We're not looking at making any profit or anything, because where we were looking to make our profit was off the sale of the house. And the individuals that were renting our house in California stepped away after they said they were going to buy it, thrashed it, and we had to fix it. So, and make it sellable. And the economy did this. The economy is a roller coaster. You go up and down and up and down and up and down. And we were in this point when they moved out of the house. So we had to do what they call a short sale. Yeah. And it didn't ruin our credit, but it did not help it. And we did have to wait, and we had to prove ourselves, but we didn't foreclose. And on the short sale, I had a piece about that because we paid off the original note in the sale of the house. What we had borrowed, we had paid. And we also paid off the second that we had on the house. Now, that's another thing when you own a house. You can take an equity line of credit when you have those emergencies. You can get usually about 70 to 80% of your equity. You can pull it out and you have that little nest egg if something happens. Interest rate's a little bit more when you do that, but when you do that, you have it. And we did that over and over and over. And that's how we were able to afford to do a lot of the things we did for our kids. It wasn't for the supplemental income we had coming in, right? It was because we worked both dual income and we used our credit throughout our whole marriage. We've been married this month 40 years, and yay. It can happen when you get married in the Lord. You can have two stand stronger than one, and three cords. We've talked about that. So anyway, know that going into it. So when you're looking at getting into a house and you have to go high like we did when we bought our second home, because I sold my first home, he sold his first home. We came together, bought a home together in California. We ended up buying it, paying the interest rate high for a year, refinanced it, proved ourselves, dropped the interest rate substantially, which gave us a substantial lower house payment, which meant also that we could breathe. That was nice. And we also had equity in our property. Now, you don't always want to pull your equity out because you don't always need to do that. You just don't. That's your nest egg. Pulling equity out is no big deal if you have good credit and if you have the right person, which I'm going to give you down in my descriptions. I'm going to name drop who I use, who I absolutely love. I have used this guy for refinancing and home buying. So, and he's proven himself. You're like, who is this person? You'll see. So anyway, getting back to that. So let's just use this for an example, okay? If you own a home right now, you're like, oh, I didn't know I could pull equity out of it. The rule of thumb is if you can refinance your house for 1% less or more, go for it. There is cost to refinancing your home, and you want to shop that too, because not all lenders are the same. And you can play Let's Make a Deal with your lenders, just how I talked to you about playing Let's Make a Deal with the credit card people. Now, this is going to be a little bit longer than I wanted it to be because less is best, but at the same time, I want to give you a ton of information. So you can pause this, rewind it, go back, whatever. It will be uploaded on my YouTube channel, edit it with the footnotes and everything. Right now, I'm doing it on Instagram to get it out to you. So, on the market right now is high. Interest rates are high. I'm going to use our home as an example. Now, we have really good credit. We've worked really hard for it. It has not always been good. Remember, I've shared that in my other video on money, that it was not always good. It wasn't, because life happens. And you got to do what you got to do to take care of your kids and family and stuff. So, life happens. You lose your job, your kid needs something, whatever. So, when we sold our home in California, we short sold. Rented for a while in Reno, got to know the area, didn't want to jump into a house right away. I wanted to know the area, bought a home, saved up for the 20% down. And actually, I don't even know if I put 20% down. I think I did, but I may not have. I may have paid the mortgage premium insurance and then took it off after a year when I refinanced. I've bought a few houses. So when you do that, you can do that. So anyway, you don't want to refinance. You don't want to pull equity unless it's more than 1%. Let me tell you why. Because it's not cost effective. It's just not. Not unless you're just going to refinance it and hang on to it forever. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not. Interest rates are going to shift and change. It depends on who's in office, what the economy is doing. And right now the economy sucks. I'm sorry, but it does. It's so sad. But it is what it is. You've got to work with what you got. So if you can get into a house or if you could refinance, yay. If not, just know that when you're renting, yes, you have the flexibility to move whenever you want. You just give that notice to your landlord. Sayonara. Break the lease if you have to. Pay the penalty and move on. If you own, you do have the headache of having to sell it. And you don't always get what you want. Because we have these big eyes that our houses were so much. And at one time it may have been, but then if the market starts to dip, you're not going to get that. You're just not. So plan for that. So knowing that, also look at, and I know this is something in California, HOAs. HOAs could cost anywhere from $100 to $500, depending on your HOA. What's an HOA, Hallie? It's your house association. It's your committee that says, we're going to watch over your whole neighborhood and make sure everybody obeys the rules, and we're going to take care of that community pool for you and your landscaping and all that stuff, depending on what your HOA CCRs are. Not all HOAs are the same. They're just not. They're not. And not all of them do what they say they're going to do. We had an HOA that we bought a community pool and everything within our HOA, and it was a nightmare. The pool was closed more than it was open. They have no bite. I mean, you have to make sure you've got somebody in there that's really going to do the job. So check out your HOAs too and get involved. Get involved. So know that going into it, that's part of your expense if you buy a home and it has HOA. This home that we bought does not have an HOA, because you know why? I'm a big girl and I can take care of myself. And I have an issue with my neighbor, I'm going to go talk. I'm going to go talk to him. And my husband would too. So, and we don't have a community pool or anything, because for what I was paying for the HOA, I figured I could make payments on a pool if I really want a pool. So high, buy low, get a pool. Whatever you want to do. So that's something to think about. So HOAs are not all the same, and they're not always good. And they have no bite until it's time to sell the property. My opinion, for what it's worth, that's how I experienced it. They will get the people at the very end that's, piling up cars and all that stuff, and they get their penalties and stuff they can collect when they do sell, if they ever sell. So, going from that to that, you have the freedom to walk away, and just remember your equity is working for you. You're not working for it. Your house should work for you. It should be something comfortable that you enjoy. Right now, our home, and I'm just going to use this as an example because I care. Proverbs 31, and I try to be that Proverbs 31 woman that considers a field before she buys it, takes care of her family, and all that. So we got into this house, interest rate 6.5, and a lot of people go, "Oh, that's good." No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It's high. To me, it's high. Our first home that we bought was 11%. We got that down into the 7s, and that was okay. We didn't finance as much, and we were young, learning, all that stuff. Our house that we sold was at 3%, 2.999. So we financed the same amount because we took our money, flipped it into this house, but our house payment's higher. But we don't have the HOA fee. So it balances out, kinda. But my goal is within the next few years is to refinance and bring it down more. I'm hopeful that the economy will adjust and pivot again. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But meanwhile, I have what we call an ARM. I went into an ARM, which really surprised my finance guy. He goes, "You're going to do that?" And I go, it's a 10-year ARM. It has a 2% ceiling. It can't go any higher, can't go any lower. So why not? I mean, the worst it could be is 7, 8, 9. So it's still under 10 and it's still doable. And my goal is to refinance it, keep my credit good so I can jump in there when that moment it drops, shift it and change it and get into the nice, comfy house payment. So that's my goal. And the house payment we have right now is doable. It's not strapping us at all. We don't pay gas. We're in a fully electric house. So there's different things that we have going on here that we didn't have in our other houses. So it's all good. It's all good. So that's my goal. And again, like I said, with the FHAs, you can go 10. You can even do a 5-year loan if you've got the credit and the bang to pound it out. But bottom line, do your homework. Get your credit card debt, if you have credit card debt, under control. And I talked about that on Real Money, so we don't really need to go over that one again. And pump up your credit score and get that going in your direction, what's best for you. A lot of people, they look at their home, they look at the electricity, the gas, the water, the trash, all those fun things that go with owning a home. When you rent, a lot of times that's covered, not totally, but most of it is. But when you own a home, you're going to pay for all that. You're going to pay for all your repairs, all that stuff. So here's what I want to tell you. If you're buying a new home, you don't need the home warranty because it comes with a home warranty from the builder, or it should. Negotiate that. Home warranties are about $500. They're not that much, and they're a lifesaver. If you're buying an older home, get a home warranty on it and make sure it covers the things that you're going to want to have questions about. That, like, I don't know about that, get a home warranty. But have who you're buying it from pay for it. I always included a home warranty when I sold a home. I bought the home warranty. That's the least I could do because I bought low and I sold high. So ask for the home warranty. Make sure you've got that. I want you to understand too that when you're making a house payment and you do this, I know a lot of times in this mindset and everything, you're like, but I can't, God, I'm so strapped to these bills. Well, you know what? Keep in mind that you have a roof over your head. You're taking care of others, which is your family and your loved ones probably, and you for utilities. You're going to have to pay utilities and yada yada. That's just part of it. But you're going to have that no matter what anyway. And that's a necessary bill that you need to prioritize and really go, okay, do I need to spend $200 on internet? Do you? Really? Really, do you? Well, I work from home. Well, maybe get yourself a Starlink. $120. Stream. Whatever. Or look at the fiber optics that are being offered in your area. Keep that in mind too when you're buying a home. What services are available in your area? What kind of internet are you going to have? Is it going to be fiber optic? Is it going to be satellite? What's it going to be? So those are expenses that you're blessed to be able to maintain and do because you have a roof over your head, you have floor under your feet, you have food in the refrigerator, you have your utilities paid. That is the biggest gift you can give your family. So don't feel like when they want to get all this extra stuff, you need to teach them that all this stuff is not free. Include your kid in the process of it, for they can grow up and be functioning adults as well. I know that kids need to be kids, and I get that, but they also need to be in the real world and prepared for life. Because if you don't, when they start getting older, teaching them how to budget, maintain, and move forward, they're going to struggle. And it's going to be really hard for them. And they're going to come to you asking for a loan all the time. So teach them now. Teach them now. I have to give my son kudos because he works really hard to maintain everything and with his situation and everything. So I give him kudos and shout outs because he has 4 kids and he he has stepped up and he has taken care of business for the most part. So, yeah. So put your kids in the process. So remember, the cake is your home. The icing on the cake is all the other fun stuff that you need to evaluate. Do you really need? Do you need to be buying all these games for your video stations? Do you need to be buying all these online things for your games to play? Do you need to be having the newest and most improved iPhone, Apple Watches, whatever? Are these really necessary? Are these things that you really, really need in life? Do your homework, do your budget, like I shared in the previous video, and prioritize what's important to you. For me, having a home, building my equity, that's important to me. Because I know if there was an emergency and if I needed to tap into my equity, there you go. So that's just what I wanted to share with you on this line. So the bottom line, as I share on my others, is I want you to pray before you pay for anything. Do your homework. Don't take the easy way out, because when you take the easy way out, it can turn into a great big huge nightmare, and it's not so easy to backpedal and get out of that and pivot. Shop for the best interest rates. Shop for the best loan if you are looking. Shop for the new buyer programs, the VA programs. VAs have a lot of good programs. And just see and shop for creative financing. Conventional loans are just as fine if they're with a solid company as an FHA loan. So do you want to go into a 30-year or 20-year, 15-year or 10-year note? Are you going to stay in your home for a while and you want a comfortable house payment? Then you're going to extend your loan out to 30 years probably. That's what we did. I'll probably be dead in 30 years, but it'll be there for my son and his kids. But my payments are doable for us. And my goal is not to have the house paid off for him to enjoy. I have it in a living trust, so he can just step right in, take it over, and he can continue on with it. It's a good foundation and a good start for him. Originally, my goal was, I gotta have it paid off, and the more I thought, I was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. So I just put it in a living trust. So get yourself a living trust if you're older and you're concerned about that with your kids, and enjoy life, travel, and have some fun. Spend some of that inheritance. Your kid wants you to. Enjoy life while you're here. Don't be all stressed out about, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Oh my goodness, you're missing out on some of the fun things in life. Stop the madness. Enjoy it. Breathe a little bit. And if it's too good to be true, if you have a contractor building a home for you, been there, done that, you're going to share this one too. If you're building a home and it's too good to be true and the contract is not being honored, if you have a bilateral or trilateral verbal contract, an attachment to the contract you're in saying, yeah, if the interest rates go down, we'll adjust it or whatever, and you have a disagreement and you're not on the same page, walk away. Cut your losses. Don't get in any deeper and walk away. God will bless you for being wise. He did us. The house we walked away from, we were building, we had paid for the plans, we had done all that, we had bought everything for the house. We're talking faucets, everything, ceiling fans, faucets, bathtub, everything, because we were doing a custom, you build it, we stick it type thing. And I ended up selling a lot of that stuff off of Facebook. People got really good deals because what happened is we walked away because we weren't on the same page. So we walked away. We lost what we had paid for the plans to be upgraded, which we knew we would, but we did get our money back as far as what we put down for our good faith, down. We got that back because we did come to an agreement that needed to happen. But just walk away, because here's an example, bouncing back. A week later, in the same neighborhood, we walked into a spec home. And it was all the colors and everything that I had given, that I was building our new home with. The Lord already had us covered. It was waiting for us right there. And it was the house that originally drew me to the area that we couldn't afford. back when I saw it 2 years ago. It's like, I can't afford that. There's no way. So we're going to build our own house. They had dropped the price. It was a spec home, and it was just waiting for us. So don't underestimate what God has for you, because He's good and He's faithful. So yeah, remember that the economy is a roller coaster. We go up, we go down, we go up, and we go down. Right now we're down, but prayerfully we'll go back up, and things will be okay. And you can maybe start preparing now. That's why I wanted to get on here and share this with you. Start building your savings account now. We talked about that in the other video. If you want to check that out, I'll put it up in the end screen where you can click on it. But that will be on my YouTube channel. So all those clicks and descriptions will be on my YouTube channel. And it's Real Talk with Hallie. So it's real easy to find. It's the same name, just on YouTube. YouTube, I can do the descriptions and the clicks and all that fun stuff. Here I just come on live, I share with you, and then there you go. There you go. So until next time, I really appreciate you jumping on. I hope this information helped you. And just let me say a little prayer for you before we leave, okay? Because I am a believer, and I do believe in the prayer. In prayer. Lord, whoever's out there, who's ever watching this, if only for the one, Lord, if only for the one. May you bless, may you lead, and may you be glorified. In your precious Son's name, amen. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good day and a better tomorrow, as my dad would say. May the Lord bless you, as Papa Chuck would say. And until next time, peace out. Bye.